the heart here, folks. Got it. Okay. So Dr. Cliff Morris here, Morris Cardiovascular Risk Reduction Center in Chester, Virginia. We're talking matters of the heart. And when you're talking about matters of the heart, often I would speak to my kids as they were growing up, and I would tell them, they would get with friends that weren't particularly the best friends to be hanging out with. Get them over here. Can you smoke this? Come on over. Come on, let's drink this. Come on, let's do this. Let's skip school. And I would always tell them, there's going to be a pull right here. There's going to be something right here, and that's what you should listen to. Because when you start thinking your way through it, that's when you get in trouble. This is your intuition. This is that heart, that gut that will guide you in the right direction every single time. And today, listening to Marianne Williamson speak about a more heart-centered response to this issue in Israel and Hamas was very needed and very gratifying. It's a tough topic. My wife has relatives in Israel right now, and so it's raw and needs to be handled very maturely and very sensitively and with a lot of compassion. And but at the same time, this is not a period of let's just forget about what happened and bury all the hatchets and just let's move forward. Action has to be taken, and she was very careful with the way she spoke about the situation, understanding how sensitive it is. She herself is Jewish, so it obviously affects her in a very heartfelt and serious way. So, but for her to be able to speak and feel on behalf of both sides, which of the innocent people who are going to be affected, but who have been affected by this, including my wife's relatives there, and also we're talking children on both sides, and very people who are just caught up in the middle of all this stuff, and to have her speak on that really did my heart good. Now, what this does also is it helps to lower the temperature of the whole thing. When you're talking matters of the heart, it's when you're getting stressed like this, it stimulates a lot of cortisol, and cortisol goes and raises blood sugar and puts you in a fight or flight mode. It also weakens your immune system. It weakens the cardiovascular system. It causes all kinds of metabolic problems when it is raised to such a high level all the time. And so it's not good at all for our mental health. It's not good for our physical health. It's not good for the health of the country. But when you have a leader who is able to balance all these different dynamics at one time, and fully acknowledge the importance of both sides of this equation, but she herself feels the rage that many people in Israel are feeling right now. It's really a meaningful thing, and it's important, I think, in what our country needs, and it's important in terms of what our hearts need right now. So we do need to have an open heart space for all of this. And when you open your heart space, it's endless. There's an infinite amount of space that's there that can engulf all of this if we will connect to it and open to it and allow it to guide us. And so it goes back to what I told my kids, trust this right here. Trust this right here. And here in this day and time, we've really gotten into the rage piece of all of this, on the internet and everything, and that's how we've been handling things. And at the end of all that rage, it's more hurt, more pain, and we start the process all over again. When will it shift? And I think Marianne's got the answer for that.
And then, Dr. Cliff, and then physically, your actual heart can only take so much of that.
Precisely.
I know that some people will start to experience, if I go under too much stress, I've told you that I'm still trying to get rid of the amyloid. And if it's over a sustained amount of time, I will get chest pains if I go under sustained amounts of stress. And sometimes I'm not knowing, is this real? Should I be concerned? Because I've had chest pains since I was a little girl in the first grade. So they're so
Sure.
normal for me that sometimes I don't pay a lot of attention. Now, because I pay more attention to myself and self-care, I have connected that when I go through sustained periods of stress and worry and all of this, I will start to feel chest pains. Can you
Correct.
talk about that for people? How do they manage that in their life right now when so many people are going through so much worry and so much stress and anxiety?
Yeah. Absolutely. What's actually there is a physiological response to our emotional response, and so the answer, first of all, is if you're on medications, those kinds of things, you should make sure you take those as you're supposed to be taking them. If you're needing those, and if your doctors prescribe those, but also realize that uh, you know there's a emotional response also that has to be looked at. How we engage that emotional response has a direct action on our physiology. It's all about energy. And people ask me all the time, can stress cause a heart attack? Well, the stress can lead to behaviors which can lead to the heart attack. And if you already have significant blockage in your blood vessels of your arteries, okay, so that your arteries are supposed to be this big, and now because of progressive poor lifestyle choices, now it's this big, and you start to get into a stressful situation, it will shut that artery even smaller, and then you can start to develop pain in your chest.
Mm.
Settling back and taking a deep breath is a great way to get things started in terms of releasing that stress. A deep breath, because if you think about it, what's the first thing that happens if I were to get on the phone and tell you that we're now at war with Hamas, the U.S. is at war with Hamas. First thing we would do is go, what?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we would, oh my God, we would take these deep breaths. We would, that's the first response. And so that should be the first response regardless, is to
Mm-hmm.
take a deep breath. That automatically starts to lower the cortisol levels. It starts to break that chain, that if you will, and starts to loosen that artery, and then that artery starts to open up a little bit, and you start to feel that release in the chest. Always, if it gets too bad, you got to call 911, get to the hospital. And that happens frequently. I can't tell you how many times I've been to the hospital and somebody's there with a heart attack after a huge battle with their children.
Yes. Oh, I got 3 grown children, and I know. I go, you guys have shortened my life. You have shortened my life. I know you have. Get out.
I want to.
Yeah.
Dr. Cliff just said that, I'm not going to ask this. I'm not going to get this question out the way I want or correctly. What I'm hearing, one of the things that I'm connecting with what you're saying, is there's this physical heart, that certain things affect that physical heart, and it's what Marion's talking about, because she's not talking about the physical heart. She's talking about, well, lack of a better word, a spiritual heart, and going inside to your heart. But there's a coming together with that, the physical part and the, and I'm hearing that, and appreciating that. I don't know exactly what to do with it, but I just wanted to put that out there. I just hear that connection.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, Rhea, I just saw you just write in the chat, the collective heart.
Yes.
I was talking with a friend of mine who's Jewish, and she said, the only thing that's going to happen is that there's going to be more and more people, besides people dying, more and more people traumatized.
Yes.
And there's beautiful work being done right now around collective trauma. I won't go into it because it's not for here, but the collective heart is so real. It's so real. One of my friends, who's also Jewish, said to me yesterday, I live in a townhouse cooperative, and she suggested that we all light a candle in our windows, those little plug-in candles, just that we're lighting a candle in the darkness. Our hearts are there, with the see a candle lit. So I think the more that we can just experience that love, like Kathy talked about, she knows how to live in from her work with the Course. If we connect with that collective heart, I think there's tremendous value there. I got to say one more thing, and that is Anadea Judith, a beautiful author, wrote a magnificent book called Waking the Global Heart, Humanity's Rite of Passage from the Love of Power to the Power of Love. And that's where we are. That's what we want to do. That's why everybody that's here is supporting Marianne, because we want to vote for the power of love. And the power
Absolutely.
of love impacts the collective heart. So I just
Yeah.
want to just say that. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Fun fact. From embryology, from the moment we start forming, the heart actually forms before the brain. And so it's interesting that, you know, when we talk about the importance of actually following your heart, that heart has a healing power. It knows, it has an internal knowing. It knew even before the brain was formed. And so it's not any surprise why we should continue to follow that and let that be the guide to light the way. There's a very powerful healing force that's there. And there's also an experiment that's happened years ago where if you take a heart cell, you know, let's suppose you take one of my heart cells, a Cliff Morris heart cell, and you put it in a little petri dish. And the petri dish is a little small dish that you sprinkle some stuff on it. That heart cell can actually start to beat on its own, and it'll beat a cliff beat. Okay. Then if you take an Oscar heart cell and you strip it off the heart and you stick it over into, it's been done experimentally, and you place it into another petri dish and you put you sprinkle some stuff on it. And of course, there's a lot more science and a lot more physiology goes into this, but I'm just giving you the watered down version. All of a sudden that heart cell will beat an Oscar beat. That's different than the cliff beat. But when you take that cliff cell and you put it in the same petri dish with that Oscar cell, they find the same beat.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
they find the same. Yeah, they find the same
coherence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's coherence.
Yeah.
And so the hearts really, our hearts right now really are having a conversation. Every time there's an amount of electricity that comes from the heart, far more than what comes from the brain. That's the reason why we do an electrocardiogram, because we're measuring electricity that's coming from the heart. So, and studies have shown that hearts can detect the electricity of others around them. So when you go to hug somebody and bring their heart close to yours, there's a conversation going on. And this heart space, it extends beyond the body cavity. So literally in a room of people, hearts are having a conversation. Our brains are sitting here just going crazy and nuts, but hearts are having a true conversation.
So
and
again,
that's the space from which we need to speak.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So again, that coming together even in the petri dish, which sounds very physical, but there's something else going on there other than just the physiology of two cells coming together. There's something else happening, right?
For sure, on a quantum level, absolutely. It is, it's, you know, some would say it's magical, but it's not, no magic about it. It is about an energy. It's a wavelength, it's a frequency. And we can pick up these frequencies and wavelengths. It's our bodies are intuitively, the cells of our body are all in this frequency. And you know, when you come out of this frequency, that's when disease starts to occur. And so, so there's the reason why it's important for us to, first of all, acknowledge and realize that there is a internal heart space frequency that we all need to be aware of. And hopefully, if we can once again become aware of that heart space as a collective, then we can slowly start to turn to that channel. It's almost as if there's two different channels, where there's several different channels. There's 107 FM, and then there's 93 FM. And 107 is that heart space, and 93 is where most of us are, you know, especially when you're in Israel or you're in Palestine. But many people don't even know there's a 103. And when you start knowing that, then you can start trying to tune your space to that 103. And that's where we all come together. And I think Marianne is the ultimate DJ that's spinning that 103 heart space vibration that we all are trying to get back to. And she knows, as all of us know on this call, how important and critical that's going to be in terms of our country and in terms of our world. So all the more reason why I'm supporting Marianne. For me, she you know, it's just important for me personally that something like this happen, and I know that it's going to affect people on a real scale, on a real level across the country and across the world.
Dr. Cliff, it sounds like you're familiar with my favorite doctor, that I'm in love with what he's, you know, all the good ones are taken. That's all. I've been used to that for 30 years. But Dr. Joe Dispenza and the work he's done around heart coherence. Wow. You are, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have Joe's book. I have Joe, oh gosh, Living Supernaturally or something like that.
Yes,
I've
you are supernatural and you are the placebo.
Yeah, exactly. I've listened to tons of Joe Dispenza stuff. Absolutely. Yeah. So he's very much into this. He knows it's the same concept, the whole heart math thing also, the heart and the brain of heart math. Absolutely. Yeah. This is all real. This is not woo woo. It's not,
it's not, it's all scientific.
Scientific and evidence-based. Absolutely.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
That's why I love when I love that you're sharing it. I love that, because I've been recording this, and we know that that's going to give people an opportunity to hear this. And this is kind of like my vision. My vision for this telethon was that people would get information like what you've shared, like what Pat has shared. It's like what Ree has shared, and even Oscar and I, from a different perspective, that they can use later. Because if people, when I love to do workshops and programs and design them and everything. And one of the major things that I have with anything that I design is, what are the takeaways? What is it that this attendee is going to take with him or her that they can use later? And I think because of all of your contributions, we've given people that do intersect with this telethon something that and you've done it from the beginning when you were on here with us earlier, on to now, we're after 7 o'clock, but you've given people something that they can use and they can take and they can apply that can help them. And I think to the extent that we can do that, we'll make this experience a worthwhile experience for the people who come here with us. And what I'm hoping is, if you heard something and you learned something that you think can help you or someone else, get on over to marianne2024.com/donate and just donate what you can from your heart, because Dr. Cliff has gone to the heart, literally to the heart of things. Okay, because I did not know that the heart was the first thing that developed when in Europe. I did not know that. And and we're all resonating together, all our hearts here together. We're in this circle, and everybody who came here today, even those that left, even the rascals that came here, because our resonance is hopefully greater than theirs, they may be blessed with this from a spiritual plane that they're not even aware of.
LB, I just got to say, thank you for saying the rascals.
Those rascals.
Thank you for saying
they are. I was trying to give them a whooping. You and Ree were so nice to them and patient. I'm like, let me finish eating my noodles. Wait till I get over there. Wait till I get in there.
The conversation with one of them that I thought was coming around a little bit. It was those other guys were kind of pulling it apart. But thank you. Thank
you so much. So I'm gonna end that video right there. Ree, what a good idea. We got lots of wonderful little videos.
Oh, fantastic.